Yo. 2 lives, one day, afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you're going from. Man, what a game right out the gate. Pretty awesome quarterback performance on a number of levels. Do me a favor. You're in the chat. Hit me with your favorite emoji. Let me know that you can hear me, see me. Everything is good. Still working through the wrinkles of a new rig over here. So I want to make sure we're locked in, ready to go. But yeah, man, that was a good one right out the gate. Pretty exciting to see Dak play that well. Pretty cool to see kind of the game plan for me for Dallas Cowboys. Really just essentially not running the ball, using the kind of college-ish game to me, what I consider a little bit more horizontal stretch. Get the ball out on the perimeter, give those guys some opportunities to create space out there. But man, CeeDee Lamb, that dude's electric. My goodness. Daniel, what's good? Lazaro, yo, now is the time. 23 of our closest friends locked in for a little post-game live. Going to be a good time, not a long time, put it that way. Appreciate it. Absolutely. Cheers, Daniel. I would hit you with my emoji thing, but we're slow rolling that process back. Shockingly, that takes a while to set up. All good. Kepe, you're right, man. That was a lot of time. I'll tell you, I'm sure a lot of people are going to have a lot of different hot takes about that game. For me, that game really comes down to one penalty called, one penalty not called. Obviously it comes down to a lot of things. Can have a long conversation about some of those turnovers, drop passes, tip balls, whatever. Fumble, certainly. But for me, that holding penalty right before the field goal at the end of that last drive for Dallas, or second to last drive, I guess, with whatever the hell that last play was that they tried to run with Wildcat lateral play, which I would say is probably indication of coaches having too much time in the offseason. But that penalty, the holding penalty that allowed them to not get a first down, to me, or at least really have an opportunity to go for the first down, was really the play that kind of doomed them. And then that non-offensive pass interference on that push-off back shoulder, I mean, whatever. Chris Collinsworth trying to, make sense of a wide receiver extending his arm and pushing down a corner or DB type. It's tough. I can already hear the NFL is rigged folks out there saying that the league wanted Brady to win that one. So, it's the way it goes sometimes. It's a bummer that it comes down to that. But man, quarterback-wise, just excitement of football, high-level football right out the gate, that kind of back and forth. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, let's see what we got. You got questions, got comments. Now is the time. Views from the Death Star. That's amazing. Why would Dallas keep blitzing when Tom has great release time and the DBs can't keep up with the receivers? Did they blitz that much? What do you want him to do? You want him to sit back and let him take his time picking them apart? To me, it's always a blend and mixture of doing that, but I think the book's been for Tom Brady that you need to hit him, get him off his spot for years, decades. So I don't know if that's necessarily a new take. I don't know if the Dallas defense is still trash. It's going against the Super Bowl champions. They've got some significant talent, probably the best quarterback, not even probably, the best quarterback to ever play the game doing it. They were up against too much time. And, the end of the game, certainly, but man, they did a nice job causing a couple turnovers. That fumble really kind of gave them an opportunity. But, that's a beautiful thing about, these games. They don't come down to, even as I sit here and think about just the last two series, really the last two major series, the back and forth of the, penalties called, big plays, conversions, third down conversions, just so many kind of clutch elite performances. As I was sitting there watching those last two drives, I was thinking to myself, CeeDee Lamb, they were already talking about how explosive he is and electric, but to look that fast and that kind of like suddenness and twitch and change of direction on an NFL field versus the other fastest humans in our country, like pretty wild. I also really liked what Dallas did. Well, yes and no. I understood what Dallas was doing with getting the ball out of Dak's hands quickly, stretching them horizontally. I know it's difficult to run against that front. I still think, just philosophically, it's tough to win consistently doing that now. They might not be doing that all year. It might just be versus that front, and I get it. Difficult to run against, all those things. I still think that there are creative ways to package personnel to give yourself an opportunity to be a little bit more successful running the ball. Now, I don't know if that necessarily cost them the game by any means, but I do think it has some sort of reflection in just the personality of being able to assert your will against an opponent. And, they just ran out of time there at the end. That touchdown from Brady to Gronk versus zero blitz. Do you have your offense practice that scenario often? Zero blitz in the red zone. I don't know if you can ever practice it enough, but yeah, absolutely we practice it. I will say that that's one of those screens that I used to associate with the Patriots quite a bit, and it was more, maybe it was to the tight end, but where they kind of like fake block and then go out and they get you on those, what I'm used to calling like a green dog coverage, where that whoever has the person blocking, whether it's the back or the tight end, once they see that guy blocking, they insert into the pass rush. Well, you kind of fake block, faux block, and get into a quick little screen. So certainly something that's been around for a while. Jaden Scott, probably my favorite play was the fake, what I'm going to call a quick screen or now screen. I don't know if it was to CeeDee Lamb or to Cooper, but Dallas, nice job. I think they ran mirrored ones on both sides, and it really turns into an iteration of 4 verticals. I don't know what they did with the interior guys. They probably either ran seams or posts, but a cool way to stretch the field vertically, but not just call go routes. So I really like that one. Alexander Bailey, what do you think about Dak's 1 INT? I thought it was a tight window. It was certainly a really nice throw. I thought it was a catchable ball. I know the wide receivers getting slammed for, I follow friends with a couple guys I played with in the league that are DBs on Twitter, and they were talking about how wide receivers have, no reason to alligator arm balls over the middle now because they know they can't get hit. And I think that there's an element of truth to that. I still think it's difficult to do. I think it's hard to catch a ball anytime. And if you think I'm joking, go out there and put a helmet on and run as fast as you can and have somebody throw a fastball at you and see if you can catch it. It's not easy to do. Now, they get paid a lot of money to do it. It went through the guy's hands. It was a tight window. Potentially, that's one of those plays where I would love to see the all-22. For me, it depends on, I forget what the down and distance was off the top of my head. But is there a safer, easier throw underneath, like a check down, as opposed to throwing what inevitably was a contested throw? To me, guys have different definitions of what is open. But that was certainly a tight window. Could have been caught, should have been caught, wasn't caught. Bad things happen. Volleyball set, pick. It's all right. Shane Cram, you're right. Hit me with that fire emoji. I love it. What else we got here? Maurice, I hear you. There you go. Yeah, Vita Vea is a serious monster. It's also weird seeing a dude get out there with no tape or gloves on. I think it's like batting with no batting gloves. It's old school. I love it. Alexander Bailey, I'd really like to see break this game down from the all-22. I would like to do that as well. We'll see when it becomes available. I've had my head in the sand a little bit with the preseason all-22 in the past. The Game Pass never had preseason all-22, I think, off the top of my head. So as soon as it's available, I'll do my best to share some initial thoughts. But man, honestly, this live is half just a celebration. Ball's back. Good football. Played at a really high level. The quarterbacking specifically, obviously. You're here, this channel. It was fun to watch. I really, I think obviously watching Tom Brady do what he does, specifically with Gronk, but even in that offense a little bit, to be able to see how he can do what he's always done, but also morph it into the risk it biscuit type of mindset where, I mean, the dude threw some ridiculous dimes down the field. I think it was early in the game. He threw that almost like sideline wheel, and it was like a 1-2-3. I mean, it was not early in the progression, and he dropped that thing in the bucket. The other one that comes to mind was the Goodwin one down the field. That I guess you could call it a drop. To me, that was not a great throw, but man, the way he was able to adjust, come back, those guys would probably tell you that they should catch that ball. But it's fun to see Tom Brady do the long trap, play action, hit the guy over the middle, just things he's constantly doing over the course of all these years. He's still able to do it. There's just no answer. When you can get the running game going a little bit, you can get the ball out of your hands quickly, out of empty, and do the play action shots down the field, stretch the field. I think people have slept on Tom Brady's arm really for damn near ever, but it almost feels like he's gotten more accurate down the field. You always think back to that one crazy year with Randy Moss, Wes Welker, where they just lit the world on fire, but consistently delivering the ball exactly where he wants, and it feels like it comes out quicker. Pretty cool. Really enjoyed it. Woo! James Duncan. If Dallas plays like that all season, East could be theirs. Could, bro? Who else is going to beat them right now if they play like that? Yeah, certainly, you can feel for, I personally feel for Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, battled, just that's one of those things about the league. I mean, that's the thing about the league, right? Like, those games come down to the last drive, last series. You're on the road, battled, played good football all day. Dak must have thrown for over 400. Tom probably right around the same, to give yourself a chance, come back, kick the game-winning field goal, and know that you got to turn it over to Tom Brady, who's going to march down the field and do the same damn thing. So, I don't know what else they could have done other than probably get some touchdowns earlier in those red zone opportunities. That's the other thing I'd probably like to go back and watch with the All-22. Just see the decision-making. I know everybody's going to love up on the play calling, and I enjoyed the plan holistically from Mond to McCarthy on offense. But so much of the league is driven by third down, and that's really on both sides of the ball. That's where you see the kind of crazy exotic fronts, pressures, coverages defensively. It's also where you see a lot of creativity with the offensive passing game as far as different formations, stacking receivers, rubs, different ways to take advantage of matchups and kind of unique coverages of that space and that opponent. So, and then it just gets magnified even more when you're in the red area, you're in condensed space, the decisions about who's touching the ball, all those types of things I think are really important. I'll probably go back and take another deep dive into the All-22 when it becomes available. Boom. Antonio Brown. Okay. What's the nicest way I can put this? Obviously, Brady and Antonio Brown have a pretty cool connection on the football field. I will say that for me, just me, bro, you're here, so you're stuck with it right now. I cringe every time the broadcasters say, Antonio Brown, had a couple off the field. Hey, some off the field things. There's some off the field things. That one, the off season, he's off the field. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and rehash every single incident, but I think it was a little bit more than just some off the field things. And let's not kind of shine the light away from what those things are to those people that it happened to, the entire situation. I think it gets whitewashed, and I get it. Not even whitewashed. It gets washed under the rug, obviously, because it's an NFL broadcast and they're promoting their product. I get it. I'm not naive to that. But I do think I would prefer the broadcasters to be a little bit more, what's the right word? Not authentic, but just real. And when they talk about the issues, to name the issues and talk about exactly what the incidents are. I obviously don't have all the research in front of me to be able to tell you in any great detail, but I can tell you that there were a hell of a lot more than just a few off-the-field incidents. Blake Miller, that's funny. How many times did Brady tell Leftwich no? I thought the same thing. There's definitely a few times I felt like the camera caught him just kind of being like a pitcher almost, like, nah, bro, no, Don't want the changeup here. Don't want the changeup. Need the fastball. And again, you know, every system's different. I'm not going to tell you that I know the ins and outs of what they're doing systematically, offensively, but I can tell you that when you operate off a wristband for the majority or many of your plays, you're bounded creativity-wise because you can't change that damn wristband in the middle of the game. Now, I guess you could, but most teams, I've never been around a team that changed it in the middle of the game, let alone in the league where you have like 3 different things of 50 plays each, and so it's a massive thing. I just don't like it because it bounds your creativity. You're not allowed to make in-game adjustments. Now, you don't have to call every play off the wristband, but just it's my little 2 cents with that thing. And again, you know, I think that you'd be silly not to take Tom Brady's advice on what play should be called. That's how I feel about it. And I think Brian Leftwich and Bruce Arians probably would agree, especially when he's in the game, he's in the moment, he's out there making the decisions with the franchise in his hand. So, but yeah, it was cool. Yo, Josh Conrad, what Brady is doing is inhuman. Nobody gets better athletically in their mid-40s. Those TB12 supplements must be amazing. Will there be a land? Oh man. Yeah, Josh, we'll leave. I'll let that one lay tonight. Local sports talk. We got 100 of our closest friends in here today. I appreciate you guys. Do me a favor, crush the like button. Normally I'd hit you with my emoji thing, but GIF, whatever. Nah. I do appreciate you hanging out though, supporting the channel. What was I going to say? Your local sports talk. The Cowboys' main problem last year was defense and QB play after Dak's injury. Okay. Yes. Oh man. Oh man, Brock. I love it, Brock. You feel free to sign off, my friend. That's the beautiful thing about this. Not everybody's equal in the chat, homie. All right, a couple more. We'll shut it down here. If you got any questions, specific things from the game, quarterback-wise, feel free to put them in the chat now. Now is the time. Otherwise, be on the lookout for some quarterback school content coming your way soon. I saw a couple questions in here about the Ravens injuries. I don't know anything about the Ravens injuries other than someone told me that 2 players got hurt back-to-back in practice and they canceled the practice. It's brutal. I don't think there's anything, well, there's few things in the football world that worse than guys getting hurt in practice, in my opinion. Hopefully, it's not serious injuries to anybody, but man, getting hurt in practice is like the worst of the worst. Michael Connors, yes, sir. Tonight, got to get some rest for tomorrow. Josh thoughts. I like that. How do you think Zeke looked tonight? I think he looked rested. I mean, they obviously, their plan was to take advantage of space and quote unquote running the ball a little differently than I think they will for the rest of the year. But, you know, I'm sure he's heated right now, to be honest with you. Probably having a little heart-to-heart in the locker room. I love it. Both Demont Verth. I thought it was cool to see both quarterbacks throw the ball over 50 times. I mean, it's just the way it's the way of football. It's the way rules are created to take it. Rules have been created so that throwing becomes more and more a part of the game, in my opinion. The rules are set up right now that throwing should be the priority for anyone who's trying to move the ball as efficiently and as effectively as possible. And so you're seeing that in the way that these plans and plays and players are executing. And so I don't think anybody, you know, I'm not sure it's going to happen every single week for every single franchise, but if you have a franchise quarterback, you know, I think it's pretty well proven right now that the league is and has trended that way for a while. And now everybody seems to be catching up to that train. All right, that's a wrap. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate y'all. I will see you on the other side. See you soon.